All right. What do we have, B?
Well, what we have is some haters by the name of Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd, among others, who have been going at LeBron through his son, Bronny. Essentially just kind of trash talking both of them for Bronny being a G League player and, LeBron using his influence to get him into the NBA, and them taking an issue with it. And really, I think we all know the reality is they don't have any issue with Bronny being in the league. They don't have any issue with the way LeBron got him in the league. They have the knowledge that hating on LeBron will bring viewers and bring clicks the same way that hating on Lamar Jackson does it in the NFL, right? But this time, one of them, Stephen A., he's a name dropper extraordinaire. He likes to be seen. He likes to let you know who he was standing near. He likes to be courtside at these games, and he was courtside in a game that LeBron James was playing in. And he turned around, and LeBron James was right up in here, and telling him, "Hey, you need to stop talking about my son." And he said there was some expletives used, and he said, "Stop talking about my son." And Stephen A. kind of just stood there and took it, and then sat down and didn't say anything, and did his podcast and his radio show and didn't say anything. And then his bosses at ESPN said, "You better go say something," because he's out there in many videos all over the internet talking about, "Hey, if you don't like what I say, come see me. Okay, I'm courtside at all these games. You see me out here. You come find me.
I'm outside.
Come out here. You talk to me man to man. You don't like what I say." And then somebody didn't like what he said and talked to him man to man, and he looked frightened.
Yeah, but then he followed it up. I'm not sure when this
Gil's.
It was Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and he was talking.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I do want to say thank you to House, our newest member of Patreon. Appreciate you signing up. Thank you very much.
Salute to House. Salute. Appreciate you, House. Yeah, but he was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and he had his chest puffed out. He dropping expletives every other word. He was talking tough then. He was yelling and hulking up. He's like, "I wasn't talking about your son. I was talking about your ass." Right? I'm like, now I know you didn't say that to LeBron when he was in your face.
Right.
I know you didn't say that part. You didn't say much. Okay. He did the talking, it looked like, and you just stood there and then sat back down when he walked away from you. I don't respect him. I do not respect Stephen A. for a myriad of reasons. Okay. I do not like this man. I just don't. Did he work hard to get to where he's at? Yeah, I'm not going to take any of that away. But the things that he has done to put himself in a position that he's in right now, do not respect it. He is a sellout. And he put himself in this situation. Now, I know people are going to say, well, hey, what's wrong with criticizing Bronny? He's in the NBA. That's that comes with the territory. Absolutely. And him being LeBron's son, that comes with the territory. People are going to go at him. I don't think LeBron has an issue with that. But as I did some digging into this, because I just don't keep up with mainstream media like that anymore. Apparently, Stephen A. not only was criticizing Bronny in his play, he's criticizing LeBron as a father.
I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this.
And I saw a clip where Stephen A. addressed it on his podcast that LeBron's people reached out to him because, he knows everybody, right? LeBron's people reached out to him and told him that LeBron's not happy with him criticizing LeBron as a father. That's different from criticizing a basketball player. Okay. And he basically said, hey, we got to stop all this, being soft, all this softness. So LeBron showed you how soft he was. He came to you face to face, and now you're mad about how he came at you. Talking about, oh, well, he could have told me, hey, to stay after the game. We could have talked about it afterwards. No, he came to you right off the bench when he saw you and said, what's up? You talking? What's up? Stop running your mouth and watch the game. You can't. You like you can't. So my issue with him is this: you're not a journalist anymore. You're not a reporter anymore. You're just a character. You're a TV character. You want to be friends with all the basketball players. You want to be best friends with all the basketball players. You want to name drop them, like B said. You want to tell everybody, I know him. We're really good friends. I got his number right here. We were talking the other day. I met him at Chick-fil-A. You know, like he wants to be like this with the players. If you want to be like this with the players, like you were on Gilbert's show when you guys all just chilling and rapping and you know, having a good time, then there are certain things that you cannot say about them, right? Because you're not a journalist anymore. If you want to be a journalist, then you're not close with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a problem I had with LeBron, or not even with LeBron, with Stephen A. is when he addressed it on First Take. He said, you know, LeBron, you got my information. Rich Paul, you got my information. Maverick Carter, you have my information. These are all LeBron and his associates, his business partners. You guys could have called me. Instead, you waited until you saw me courtside at the game and confronted me. I think it was the third quarter, end of the third quarter, going into the fourth. Stephen, if you're gonna call people out publicly, they have the right to address you publicly.
And he said that also in the clip, by the way. Like if I say something publicly, I'm not gonna apologize privately because it's public. So
So you called him out in public. You use your platform to get ratings and clicks. You use his name on your platform. And that's whether it's your show, whether it's the Stephen A. Smith show that you do on YouTube and, in the podcast space. Either way, you use that man's name and his son for clickbait. And then you said as a father, you felt like it was wrong. And you made the comparison on Gil's show as far as King Griffey Jr. and Sr. being at the Lakers' first game. They're both all-stars and, Hall of Fame type talents, as to say, Bronny's not that. But why does everybody have such a problem with Bronny being the 55th pick when nobody anywhere near him in the draft is doing anything in the NBA, the G League? Look, I mean, Bronny's averaging 22 in the G League. He's 19 years old. The kid damn near died a year ago, and he's only getting the coverage and attention he's getting because he's LeBron's son. He didn't ask to be LeBron's son. He didn't ask to be Bronny James. He just was born with that, and LeBron used his privilege in a way that no other black NBA player had ever used to get their son prime positioning. Because I think he would have been an NBA player anyway. It just wouldn't have been with the Lakers. It just wouldn't have been at the same time as LeBron. But give him another year or two, he would have made the NBA based off of his own merit. So I've seen him play in the G League, and there are guys in the NBA right now that are worse than him. Yeah, LeBron was maybe a little bit out of pocket by saying, I think he's better than a lot of guys in the league before he was in the league. But that was just the opinion of a father. And yeah, you're going to be biased as a father, as a family member. I got a little nephew that plays basketball. He's 15. I think he's better than everybody. In reality, it's not always the same. We'll see one day, and Stephen A. pops a lot of stuff like he can beat people. But if LeBron swung on you, what you gonna do, bro? Like, you better hope you don't see him somewhere where there's not 20,000 people in an arena and cameras feeding the entire world. Because if he sees you somewhere outside of that, in a club or somewhere that he might be able to get away with slapping you, he might just do that. I don't think LeBron's that type of guy, but when you talk about somebody's ability as a father, I don't think anybody's ever said that about you, Stephen A. And I don't think people even know, but he has kids himself. Stephen A. has 2 daughters, I believe. So if it's fair for you to attack somebody's fatherhood, it's fair for somebody else to do the same to you. So it's just be careful of the medicine you dish out because you might end up taking it yourself.
The funny fact about this is the coverage of him is abnormal because the way you usually cover the 55th pick in the draft, the NBA draft, is this how you cover them. You don't talk about them because they don't matter. Mm-hmm. Who was the 55th pick last year, guys? Do we know?
No. Who was the 54th or 56th pick this year?
We don't know.
Nobody knows.
Does anyone remember the top 10 of this year's draft?
No, I barely remember the first two guys, two French
Oh,
dudes.
I remember the first two.
Yeah, we all,
I want to address this comment, but because he says he shouldn't be off limits as a professional, but that's not. Go ahead.
No, because
Go ahead,
see, here's the thing. I agree, but professionally, the way you cover the 55th pick in the NBA draft is you don't talk about them because they don't matter.
Yeah, but
that's the real thing, is because he shouldn't be off limits, and he's not off limits, but he doesn't play in the NBA. He's a good G League player. We don't see any stories about that. He's a good G League player, and then every now and then he plays a few minutes in the NBA.
Yeah, but this is how Stephen A. tried. This is how Stephen A. tried to defend it, though. He said he was on Gil's show, and he said that he got drafted when he did, with the whole circus around. He's only going to go to the Lakers. Rich Paul saying that there was a number that he needed to be met. Then he signed the contract. I think he got $8 million or whatever. I don't know how many years it was, but he got some money. And Stephen A. said, I didn't say anything the whole time any of this was going on. People kept asking me to chime in on it. I didn't feel like it was worth covering. But then the Lakers started playing him. And one game, he even came out to start the third quarter or something like that. And then he felt like it was on limits to be able to give whatever critique or criticism that he had at that point. But it's nobody can get upset at your basketball criticism. It's the part that you talk about him as a father.
Just to put that in perspective, Bronny has played 76 minutes in the NBA.
But I don't want this. But I don't want this. I don't want this point to get lost. Right? It's not the criticism of Bronny why LeBron is mad. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's him questioning him as a father. Right? Mm-hmm. You call me a bad father. That's personal. That's not has nothing to do with what's going on in the court. You call me a bad father. You damn right we got a problem. And I don't owe you any. I don't have to afford you any kind of respect or anything like that. Or we'll take it outside, or we'll talk on the side. No. When I see him, I'm gonna call you out. Who are you talking to?
Hey man, for years this is the way he's been operating. Right? He just call me. Just talk to me. Do the thing. That because Carmelo Anthony, he said something about Carmelo Anthony once, and literally Carmelo Anthony called him the very next day. He was like, "Yo, that was BS what you did. Why'd you do that?" And then on the next day he apologized to it. And then he famously threatened Kevin Durant on his show. Y'all remember that?
But I will say this lastly. You don't want to make an enemy out of me. And I'm looking right into the camera, and I'm going to say it again. You do not want to make an enemy out of me.
I remember when he said,
enemy out of me.
You don't want to make an enemy out of me.
No, he said he kept talking about his mother too. And then his mother had to call.
His mama pressed him. His mama pressed him on his show during the finals. She sided, Miss Wanda, wonderful person. I hear great stories about her when she was in the Bay Area. But when she was on that show, she didn't give a damn. She just dirty looked.
But this is the problem.
She forgave him, but she don't like him.
This is the problem. This is what I'm saying. He blurred the lines. He wants to be too close to these players to where he thinks they're friends, but then he also wants to talk about them, and then they call him, and then he'll get emotional about it because he's like, well, damn, well, I'm just trying to do my job, but okay, well, we're supposed to be cool. I'll apologize, or he'll try to make a hard stance, and then he's beefing with people. That's because you're not being a professional, right? If you're a professional, then you analyze the game, you report what you see. It doesn't matter if they're happy with you or not. There's that line drawn, and they won't be running up to you, during games, getting in your face saying, shut up.
Yeah. The other part is Colin Cowherd also chiming in and essentially saying this is why the NFL is ahead of the NBA in terms of popularity and ratings and all that, because you don't see this type of nepotism. He said you're not going to see Jalen Hurts' son playing running back for the Eagles. And I just wanted to respond to that real quick, because you do see nepotism in the NFL, right? That kind of player nepotism is more rare. Jared Payton did get to the NFL because he's Walter Payton's son. He didn't have any business playing in the NFL. He got drafted. He played for Tennessee for 1 year, and then he was out of the league. But you do have preferential treatment given to players who don't belong in the NFL, right?
Yes.
Tim
Yeah.
Tebow got multiple chances. Nathan Peterman, Greg McElroy got into the NFL. John Skelton was a starter. Quincy Carter was a starter for several years. We talked about Dez, Deshaun, Sammy Watkins, Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman, all in Baltimore when they were picked them up off the trash heap and they didn't belong in the NFL anymore. Because the where the nepotism happens in the NFL is in the coaching staff and in the front office. And Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd, they don't want to call that out, right? For those of you who don't remember, I mean, if you don't follow the Panthers or you haven't watched the show that long, there was a point where the Carolina Panthers employed Norv Turner, Norv Turner's brother, Norv Turner's son, and Norv Turner's nephew. Now,
it's a daycare for the Turners.
Don't tell me that they were the best available at all those positions. Ron likes Norv Turner, and he took care of his friend Norv Turner and his family. And Ron's family was being taken care of elsewhere. You know, we all saw on Hard Knocks, Jim Fossil's son was the special teams coach for the Rams at one point, and his entire segment was how he just wanted to be on the beach and paint and all that. He didn't care about football, right? He was there because he was Jim Fossil's son. You know, and I told us we were talking about this earlier. If you fire every Nepo baby on the coaching staffs and in front offices in the NFL today, the league will fold tomorrow. Right? It's built on nepotism. But nobody has a problem with that. It's just like when we talk about LeBron moving from Cleveland to Miami, you know, with Wade and Bosh, and you know him bringing Anthony Davis to the Lakers. People have a problem when players, and let's just be honest, when black players have agency in their career. They want them to be controlled by the teams, controlled by their coaches, controlled by their GMs. And whenever any athletes, whether it's, you know, basketball, football, college, pro, high school, whatever it is, whenever any athlete shows that they can take control of their own career and their own lives, people have a problem with it.